and welcome to the channel. Now today's video is going to be about getting a nice big picture for pretty much next to nothing. We're going to spend as little as possible here to get a nice big picture to watch your DVD Blu-rays. We're going to touch on gaming in another video. I'm going to do them all separately because I did try and work out which way to do this, and I do a lot of talking and this will go on for hours if not. So we're going to keep this one just to this particular projector, not particular model but kind of projector, what you may be going to pay for it, separate video how to link it all up kind of thing, but just to give you an idea if you're into maybe trying to get a big picture, a reasonable picture, reasonable quality picture, rock bottom prices. Now when I say that, anyone with a 4K Blu-ray player, this video isn't for you because this is going to be a cheap projector. Still going to give a reasonable picture for most people, but if you're into 4K and you want this extra fine detail, then this isn't for you. But we're going to have a look what kind of detail we can get for less than £100 here, less than £100 here in the UK, probably $100 in America and places like that. This particular projector, I'm going to put a little screenshot of it at the moment at the top. I paid £58 for. So we're going to see what kind of picture quality we're going to get out of this. Like I said, I'm going to do a separate gaming video as well. I want to touch, this is a short throw projector. I mean, when it's short throw, basically a lot of people probably know, but short throw means it's pretty close to the wall or place you're going to put the projection, you're going to put the projection on. Now some people may have a setup where a TV's on this downstairs on a cabinet or something like that. So this may be a film night, something like that, where you move the telly off out the way. I know it's a bit of aggro, but hopefully you've only got one or two HDMI sockets plugged into it. But you maybe move that out the way, put it at the side, and have a film night, dig out the old projector. Or you may just have a room where you can actually set this up. Or you may have your telly here, and on this wall here, you may be able to sling up the projector and project onto that wall, a nice wall, but it doesn't have to be white. Now in this particular case, like I say, it's quite long-winded as normal. This isn't a white wall, as you can see it's an off colour, it's like a creamy kind of, slightly on the darkish side actually, creamy colour. It looks quite bright because the light's on it at the moment. It's a creamy colour. I haven't got a white wall in here, and the reason I didn't bother with a white wall here to show you this video is that not everyone's got a white wall. So what you see in here, expect to be a brighter, more crisper picture maybe on a pure white wall. This is to give you an idea of a wall that isn't white, what you should get out of it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you a couple of videos. These are already videos, I don't want to get any copyright match or anything like that. The first one's quite bright, but it's a little bit cloudy in the background, kind of give you an idea what a bright picture looks like. And the other one's at night, the Eiffel Tower at night, a bit misty there, a bit cloudy there, mist or say cloud or whatever. Overnight, to give you an idea, and the first one is in 720p, so it's not the actual best quality. The camera I took it on was okay, and the second one was on an earlier camera, which is a bit rougher picture kind of thing, but it's going to give you an idea of how bad the quality is going to be kind of thing. Hopefully you're going to connect up your DVD player or Blu-ray player, you're going to get a little bit better picture than what you're going to see here at the moment. So it gives you an idea. I think rather than showing you something unbelievably brilliant, you may think, well, that's really, really good, and you get it and be disappointed. I'd rather show you the lower end of what to expect, then everything else is a bonus, that kind of thing. So like I say, this is a short throw projector. It literally stands about a foot away from the wall. It's a big lump, don't get me wrong. We're going to come to have a little look at the projector, maybe what to look out for in a minute after I show you these first two clips. So let's just show you these first two clips to give you an idea of what actually you can get out of it. And this particular picture is 80 inches in diameter, from corner to corner, 80 inches. So when you see if you want a smaller picture, 60 inches, you're going to bring that projector just a little bit nearer, a few inches nearer, and it's going to be a little bit brighter than it actually looks at the moment when I show you this video. If you want a 100-inch picture, you're going to move it away a few inches, and not that far, just a few more inches away, and you're going to get a slightly less bright picture. So let's give them two videos a little run. Okay, so that gives you some kind of idea what the picture actually looks like, hopefully. Like I say, the first picture was quite bright, had a bit of cloud as it spun around on the submarine. You may want to look at that again. And the last picture was a lower resolution and was at night as well. So it gives you kind of an idea what you're going to get. The room was pitch black, apart from my PC was still on. The monitor screen was still on. So you may have a little light in the corner somewhere in your room. Like I said, this isn't a pure white wall, done that on purpose to give you an idea of what it would be from. Not everyone's got a pure white wall in their house. So if you've got an off-white wall, it gives you kind of idea. If you've got a white wall, you're going to get a brighter and better picture. Then you may want to move your TV out of the way, like I probably mentioned, and put this on. You may actually have it on another wall. So you've got a few options there. Your DVD player plugs in here through the HDMI, or your Blu-ray player. It does not support Blu-ray 4K. So if you've got that player, like I said, video is not for you, but it supports a normal Blu-ray player or DVD player. Your HDMI would come out and go into here. The only downside with that is your sound would come out of here as well. Not unless you've got your DVD player connected up to your Wi-Fi or an active speaker, a speaker with an amplifier built in. So we'll touch on that on another video, how to connect that up if that was the case. But basically at the moment we're just going to talk about connecting up to this projector and throwing the picture on the screen and the sound coming out of here. If you know how to get the sound out of here, which you can because it's got an audio out and connected up to your amplifier, that's fair enough, but we'll cover that in another video. So that's the kind of picture you're going to get. Like I say, if you've got a big picture like that, you want to get some nice sound to go with it. So we're going to touch that on another video, how to connect that up and get a nice cinema sound for next to nothing really. Like, you know what I mean? This is 58. You're not going to get all these for £58. Got a little bit lucky there. May go for about £100 somewhere around there, maybe 120, something like that I've seen them for. So what we're going to talk about is talk a little bit about this projector now. First, I'll just go back to that picture again, just quickly. Don't expect, you've seen that picture there. Don't expect, crystal sharp picture. I must kind of mention this, but it's a decent picture for what money we're paying. But don't expect it to be pin sharp, 4K kind of picture. It isn't that. It's a pretty similar to a picture you go and see at cinema. You know what I mean? A great big screen, something like that. You sit a reasonable distance away back. You're not going to sit bang up on top of it. It's going to look pretty good. It's going to look pretty good, you know what I mean? The only thing is you're not going to get all the grayscales. You're going to be missing some of the detail in the grayscales. Just would mention that. I don't want to get too technical and too involved in it. You just got to set it up. You're going to have to adjust the contrast and brightness, all that kind of stuff to get the picture you like, to get the most out of it. So let's put it this way: if you had some like a white screen, like that submarine was, go back and have a look at that video at the end maybe, where it's got the Atlantis name on it with a bright sunshine gleaming on it. With these kind of projectors, a lower end projector, it may not quite give the detail as an higher end or your TV would. That Atlantis, even though you can see the name, would be more pin sharp and more prominent than it is on this projector. But if you're going to be, you can't be that kind of fussy when you're paying this kind of money. You're still going to get a nice evening. It's going to be, say, set up your speakers hopefully. You're going to sit back, relax, not worry about detail, not worry too much about the sound, just enjoy the film. And you will do for this kind of money. Like I say, it is cheap. So right, you've got to connect it up. What kind of projector, what to look for here? Like I say, this does support DVD and Blu-ray up to 1920 by 1080. Don't want to get too technical, but if you're looking for a projector, the minimum you want to look for is a native resolution. You've got to look at these. A native resolution is the first thing we're going to look at on these projectors. And the minimum, the very minimum you want these days, I would say is 1024, so it's 1024 by 768. It's okay, but this is 1280 by 1080, so it's 1280 times 1080. That is the native resolution. That doesn't mean the resolution it does. Be careful on eBay, because or places where you go and buy it, because some of them will say it's a projector, HD projector, 1920 by 1080. That's just a resolution it can do. It doesn't mean it's actually a native resolution. It may only be something like an 800 by 400 or something, somewhere around them kind of figures. You don't really want one of them, so you're looking for the native resolution. Should find some information. If not, type in the number in the search on Google and find out. Just scroll down to where it says native resolution. I'm going to put a picture up of the native, the details of this particular projector and the model number, and there it shows you. I've just circled off there. I'll put a little arrow to the native resolution, and I'm going to show you some others there, the resolutions it can do. But it's the native resolution is the most important here, because that's how many pixels on this particular projector. Now this is, I don't want to get too technical again because you're going to get right bogged down, you're going to be all over the place kind of thing. This is an LCD panel projector. Now some of them are called DLP. It's a different way of getting the picture from your DVD player, projecting it up on the wall. Now this uses also, so don't get too worried about that really. I won't get too, especially for the money you're paying here, £50, £80, something like that. I'm going to show you a couple of cheap ones in another video, so we're not going to get too worried about which way it does it. Some of them are LD, some of them are bulbs. This is a normal bulb or lamp, and some of them are LEDs. LEDs last longer, but lamps seem to be brighter, so they've got their advantages. One lasts longer, one's brighter, and this is expensive, and this is where the expense comes in. Something else you've got to look out for. So I don't want to get the video too long again, but if you just ask me some questions maybe in the comments if you get a bit confused. But the bulbs in here are about £80, so I mean it's more than a projector, the bulb. Now you will get on eco mode, and that's the picture I showed you, is an eco mode, where the bulbs is least brightness, so you can get a brighter picture if you want to pump it up, but you're going to come back with less hours. Eco mode, I think it's 5,000 hours worth of watching on these projectors. You can get 5,000 hours roughly. Eco mode, I think it's 4,000 at normal mode, and about 2,000 or 3,000, something really, you know, the top brightness kind of thing. We're not going to bother about that. In a darkened room, the eco mode works fine. So even on this coloured wall with a white wall, it's going to look even better. So the eco mode, we should get about 5,000 hours out of it. So it's quite a bit of time. So 5,000 hours down the road, we're going to have to buy a new bulb if we want to carry on with this projector. But that's going to be more than a projector, just bear that in mind. Now, when buying these projectors, these used projectors, most of them are going to have hours on the clock. And you will see in the listing, hopefully, the bloke's going to tell you how many hours that projector's actually got. Not all listings do, so if they don't, ask, and if you don't come back with anything, then you're probably going to think the bulb's on its way out, it's towards its last dying days. What I would say is if it's got 5,000 hours, you want it well under half to go kind of thing, depending what you're paying for it, but you know, maybe 1,000, go for around the 1,000 mark or less, that'd be great, gives you quite a way to go with that bulb. Depending what you're paying for it, the nearer it comes to the end, the less you should be paying for the projector, because you're going to have to go out and get a new bulb. I'll still go for one that's low. I wouldn't, you know, even though the projector's going cheap, because it ain't for you. It's hard to explain really. It's just that you're going to get it, and if it is for you, you're going to think, oh, why didn't I get one that was lower kind of thing in hours? So I'd suggest get something around about between maybe 0 hours, would be great, but up to about 1,000 or just over 1,000 hours. So that gives you a fair bit more hours to go on it before you've got to go and lay out some more money. So that's that. Don't want to get too technical, but that's it. And you are taking these people on trust a little bit, because there is a way of pressing the button on here and resetting them hours down to 0. So I could have it on 5,000 hours, press a button, and it goes down to 0 hours. I'll sell it on, and the bloke thinks, well, I've got a projector here with 0 hours, but you haven't. It's already done 5,000. So just bear that in mind. You've got to look at who's selling it, look at their feedback maybe, and look at the condition of the projector. If it's got a load of scratches and marks on it, it's probably been round the block a few times, and he's saying it's only got 200 hours. This projector had 400 and something hours on it, so I took that as pretty much trust, because I did look at it, at the actual condition of this projector. And we've got air vents here. Don't want to get too technical again, but we've got air vents here. And look at the pictures where they show you this, if it's got any too much dust or dust in there. These look absolutely spotless. I mean, they can clean them, they come out, they can clean them, but it did look spotless. Look all around the pictures, any too much dust, dirt, marks, all that kind of thing, gives things away. Tells you the age of things. So they look really clean and nice, so I really thought them 400 hours are probably genuine hours. So, but then again, you can get it home, and if you think the picture's really dull on that and you're not happy, you can send it back with places like eBay, etc. So don't worry too much about it, I suppose, because you have got that option. So there it is. I've got no remote for it or nothing like that, so don't worry too much about the remote. As long as you've got on the top here, I'll take a picture of here, as long as you've got a menu button, as long as you've got a source button on there, an input, so you know, you can choose which input you can go with. You don't really need the remote really. Everything there I want to do on this projector is on the top, and is with most projectors. There may be an odd one or two where there ain't. So look how many buttons and what they are at the top. If you get the remote, that's a Brucey bonus, obviously that's great. If you don't, you may start paying quite a bit of money for a remote control, so bear that in mind. But this projector was fine, as with a few others I've got as well in the past, have been fine with no remote, so just bear that in mind as well. So that's it. Hopefully I've pretty much covered everything there. Like I say, you can change the bulb. You've got to undo a screw and put a new bulb in if you need to do that. When you use it, just make sure you keep the air vents so you can get plenty of circulations, and the air vent comes out. If I turn it around here, it just comes out. It'll tell you, go on the line and download the manual or something like that. And in it's just a sponge here basically, and that was clean as you like, hardly been used. Just got to give that a wash basically, a little bit of a wash, let it dry and pop it back in. That just keeps the circulation of the projector going. Also, when you come to turn it off, make sure you turn it off properly. You press the button, let it cool down. Some of them run for a little bit, 2 or 3 minutes. Some of them cut off near enough straight away depending on the projector. Don't just turn it off because it needs that to cool down the LCD panel or DLP wheel inside. If you don't, you're going to start burning that out. So just bear that in mind as well. How long should one of these last? So let's just I'm just going to cut the video out and we're going to talk about how long it should last. Because these do get hot. This particular one isn't too bad actually on eco mode. It's quite silent in running as well, which is quite nice. Some of them make a little bit more noise, so just bear that in mind. But if you've got this up front, you've got your stereo speakers maybe each side of it, and you're sitting back, you're not going to hear this at all. We're going to talk about, like say, the LED ones, which will be back. They're going to be long throw projectors. They're going to be near where you're sitting probably, and you will hear the fan on them actually kick in. We'll talk about that in another video. But yeah, generally speaking, I'm very confident that I'm going to get probably 4 or plus years out of this, depending how much you use it. So for that kind of money, like say £50, if you paid £100, you're paying £25 a year to sit back and watch a film on a nice big screen. And I think it's a bargain really. It's a great, if you're into that. I mean, not everyone's going to be into it. Some people want more detail out of the picture. They want it more like HDR kind of thing. If you're into all that, you may not quite be into this. But if you're just an average, I don't want to label you up, but maybe just an average Joe blog, shall we say, you're going to be fine with this. I think if you want to sit back and watch a great big picture where you've just got a normal 40-inch TV or less, and you want to have a picture night, this is going to be great. And like I say, we're going to talk about gaming as well. Now, what I will say is another thing I just mentioned very, very quickly, and we're going to close the video there. Any questions, please ask me down below, and hopefully I can help you out a little bit more if you are looking into getting a projector. If you are, don't spend too much money in case you're disappointed. But obviously you can set it on again. If you didn't like it, you can set it on again. But one thing I will say is if you've got a 40-inch, even a 50-inch TV, and I've got a 55-inch TV downstairs, and some people got bigger. But once you pop watching this projector for a few days, etc., watching this TV and you're watching the big films, all that kind of stuff, when you come to take it out and put your TV back in place, your 50-inch TV now, I'm afraid, is going to look like a portable. You're going to think you've just picked up one of these little portables. You remember these 12-inch portables from years ago? It's going to look that small. It's just amazing how that 55-inch now TV looks about this big. It looks about that big when I put it back on the unit, when I'm sitting back watching it. You get used to this picture. You kind of spoil yourself on the size of the picture, and it's one of them things where you think, oh, I want to watch it all the time now. It's like going from standard definition to high definition maybe, or something like that, from maybe the PlayStation 1 up to the PlayStation 5. You can't kind of go back. It's kind of that. It's amazing how it makes a massive TV suddenly look really small. It's really weird, but there you go. So that's it. Hopefully you got something out of this, and like I say, look out for these projectors. Just check that native resolution and make sure it supports 1920 by 1080, because that's what you're going to feed into it through your Blu-ray player. DVD doesn't go up to that, but just make sure it supports that so you're fully covered. Check the how many hours are left on that bulb, and check the condition of the unit as well to kind of verify that that's the amount of hours left on that bulb. And this is a short throw, like I say, this is up against the wall, nice and close. We're going to talk about some long throws later on, and we're also, like I say, going to touch on the gaming side of it as well. We're going to do a separate video about connecting any of these up as well as a separate video. So that's it. Until the next video, I'll say thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all soon.